In the heart of West Africa, a ribbon of asphalt is slowly transforming the landscape of Burkina Faso. This represents far more than just concrete and steel. The Ouagadougou to Bobo-Dioulasso expressway stands as the country's first modern highway. It's a bold infrastructure venture that promises to reshape economic possibilities for one of the world's least developed nations. Before we begin, kindly subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. For decades, the 360-kilometer journey between Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou, and its second-largest city, Bobo-Dioulasso, has been a test of patience. It's been a test of endurance. The existing road is a two-lane national route carved through the Sahelian landscape. What should be a simple connection between two major urban centers becomes an exhausting 8 to 10-hour ordeal. Potholes pockmark the surface. Truck traffic crawls along at frustrating speeds. During the rainy season, sections become nearly impassable. This isn't just an inconvenience. It's an economic stranglehold on a nation desperately seeking development. The vision for a modern expressway emerged from this reality. When completed, this highway will cut travel time to just 3.5 hours. This will fundamentally alter the economic geography of Burkina Faso. But like many ambitious infrastructure projects in developing nations, the road to completion has been anything but straight. The project officially launched in 2017 with tremendous fanfare and optimism. The initial design called for a 4-lane divided highway. Modern safety features. Rest areas. Toll stations. The kind of infrastructure that citizens of wealthier nations take for granted. The estimated cost hovered around $650 million. That's a staggering sum for a country with a GDP of approximately $19 billion. To put this in perspective, the highway represents roughly 3% of Burkina Faso's entire economic output. Financing such a massive undertaking required creative diplomacy and strategic partnerships. Burkina Faso turned to international development partners. Significant support came from the African Development Bank and various bilateral agreements. China, through its Belt and Road Initiative, emerged as a key partner. They provided both financing and construction expertise through Chinese construction firms experienced in large-scale infrastructure projects across Africa. The route itself carries symbolic weight beyond its practical function. Ouagadougou, sitting in the country's center, serves as the political and administrative heart of Burkina Faso. Bobo-Dioulasso, nestled in the southwest, represents the country's commercial and agricultural powerhouse. Connecting these two cities isn't just about moving people and goods more efficiently. It's about stitching together the nation's political authority with its economic engine. As of early 2025, the project's progress has been uneven. This reflects the complex challenges of infrastructure development in the Sahel. Reports indicate that construction has advanced in fits and starts. Some sections are nearing completion while others remain in preliminary stages. The stretch closest to Ouagadougou has seen the most progress. Elevated interchanges and smooth pavement are already visible to travelers leaving the capital. This section has become something of a showcase. It offers Burkinabe citizens a glimpse of what modern infrastructure looks like in their own country. However, the middle sections have proven more challenging. The terrain between the two cities, while relatively flat, presents engineering complications. The highway must cross numerous seasonal waterways. These waterways swell dramatically during the brief but intense rainy season. Proper drainage and bridge construction have required more time and resources than initially anticipated. Additionally, land acquisition and resettlement of communities in the highway's path have created complications. Social complications. Logistical complications. These have slowed progress in certain areas. The construction methodology reflects modern highway engineering adapted to local conditions. Contractors have employed heavy machinery to grade the route. They're creating a roadbed designed to withstand both the punishing heat of the dry season and the erosive forces of seasonal rains. The pavement structure typically consists of multiple layers. First, a compacted subgrade. Then base courses of crushed stone. Finally, topped with asphalt concrete. Quality control has been a recurring concern. There have been periodic reports of substandard materials or construction practices. This has required sections to be redone. One of the most visible aspects of progress has been the construction of toll plazas and rest areas. These structures are modern and air-conditioned. They stand in stark contrast to the informal roadside stops that currently serve travelers. The toll system represents a crucial component of the project's financial sustainability. Revenue from tolls is intended to help maintain the highway. Eventually, it should contribute to paying down the construction debt. However, this has raised questions about affordability for ordinary Burkinabe citizens. Many of them live on just a few dollars per day. The security situation in Burkina Faso has cast a long shadow over the project. Since 2019, the country has faced an escalating insurgency. This is linked to jihadist groups operating across the Sahel. Armed groups have carried out attacks on infrastructure projects. They view them as symbols of government authority. Construction sites have required military protection. Workers have faced threats and occasional violence. This security overlay has inflated costs. It has slowed progress. And it has created an atmosphere of uncertainty around the project's completion timeline. Political instability has added another layer of complexity. Burkina Faso experienced a coup in January 2022. This was followed by another in September of the same year. These upheavals disrupted governance and shifted priorities. Military leaders became focused more on security than infrastructure. While the transitional government has publicly committed to completing the highway, the political turbulence has affected funding flows. It has affected administrative continuity. Despite these challenges, the economic rationale for the highway remains compelling. The World Bank estimates that poor road infrastructure costs African economies between 1 and 2% of GDP annually. This comes through higher transport costs, vehicle damage, time losses. For Burkina Faso, a landlocked country dependent on road connections to coastal ports in neighboring countries, efficient internal transportation is crucial. It reduces the cost of imports. It makes exports more competitive. The highway is expected to catalyze development along its corridor. Towns and villages near interchanges will likely see new businesses emerge. These will cater to travelers and capitalize on improved access to markets. Agricultural producers in the fertile southwest will be able to get their crops to urban markets faster, with less spoilage. The mining sector is increasingly important to Burkina Faso's economy with its gold deposits. It will benefit from more reliable transport of equipment and personnel. Regional integration represents another strategic dimension. Burkina Faso is part of the economic community of West African states. ECOWAS envisions a network of trans-African highways connecting the continent. The Ouagadougou to Bobo-Dioulasso expressway forms part of this larger vision. It could potentially link to highways in Côte d'Ivoire, eventually creating efficient corridors from the Sahel to the Atlantic coast. The timeline for completion remains uncertain. Initial projections suggested the highway would open to traffic by 2023, but that deadline has clearly passed. More recent estimates suggest a completion date sometime in 2026 or 2027. Though security and funding challenges make even this timeline tentative. Some observers suggest a phased opening might occur. Completed sections could be open to traffic while work continues on others. For ordinary Burkinabe citizens, the highway represents both hope and frustration. Hope because it symbolizes progress and modernity in a country that desperately needs both. Frustration because delays and uncertainty have become synonymous with government promises. Yet when sections of smooth new pavement appear, when modern interchanges rise from the red earth, something shifts in the collective imagination. Suddenly the future seems a bit more tangible. The project also carries lessons about infrastructure development in challenging environments. Success requires not just engineering expertise and financial resources. It also requires security, political stability, and sustained commitment across changes in leadership. It requires balancing international partnerships with national ownership, and ensuring that grand projects serve the needs of ordinary citizens, not just political ambitions. As Burkina Faso's first modern expressway continues its slow march toward completion, it stands as a testament to the country's aspirations, and to the formidable obstacles facing development in the Sahel. Whether it becomes a catalyst for economic transformation or a cautionary tale about overambitious infrastructure projects in unstable environments remains to be seen. What's certain is this: when the final section of pavement is laid and the ribbon is cut, Burkina Faso will have fundamentally changed the connection between its two most important cities, and in doing so changed itself. The story of this highway is still being written, 1 kilometer at a time.